Welcome back to My Generation, where we are continuing our conversation from last week, digging into the federal Canadian budget. If you missed last week, you need to watch the episode before watching this one. But hey, feel free to tune into this one and look out anyways. So here's what we're going to talk about. Canada wants to diversify beyond the US and become our own best customer. But is that actually realistic? I'm joined by Mustafa, Arshia, and Ashley to continue this conversation. Three liberals, but we're going to have a chat about it and critique what we see. So here's a question for you guys. We've been talking about trade diversification for 30 years. Have we really successfully done it?
I'll start with that we dropped our interprovincial trade barrier, which was the best way of making us our own customer. With that, nation-building projects from coast to coast to coast, that sends our product the best way to the best markets across the world.
Okay, so let me throw one at you. The average, to be said, and this is from a developer that I know personally, a large one who builds major communities, the average cost on a home, 36% of it is government, from municipal, provincial, and federal. Is that being our own best customer?
I think that's why we're looking at different ways that we can help, developers move that needle.
I struggle to see,
right? Rezoning, different things. So that's, again, all levels of government. So that's not just federal, but looking at provincial, municipal with zoning.
I think a lot of that stems from municipal, I'll be entirely honest, not the 36%, but more so the approval timelines and the opportunity costs for taking so long to build something. But did we see anything in the budget that actually pushes the federal government to push the municipalities directly? We saw some, but I don't know if we saw a lot.
I mean, speaking of housing specifically, I mean, the government's getting back into action there. So we're looking at Build Canada Homes there, and the government's, the municipalities have some slowdowns there, but we're looking at the government saying, you know what, we're going to take charge now. We're going to be our own developers, and we're going to provide Canadians with houses they can afford that are sustainable as well.
Going back to climate, is Canada's regulatory regulations on environment actually impacting and hurting or killing our ability to compete against the United States?
You're asking tough questions here, but I would say,
be honest.
In some ways, there has been a lot of red tape that we have been slowly trying to move along. Just because with the pressure from the United States and the tariffs, we have to make some desperate measures right now for short-term pain, for long-term gain.
And if I can just, it's a yes and no question. I think yes, it does hurt us in the now, but no, it forces us to future-proof our industry. It forces us to look to the future for what we want.
Okay, so let me look at this. In Q2, we lost tens of thousands of jobs. Okay, I appreciate that we have infrastructure investments coming from this budget. I do like that. The challenge I have is that we cannot afford to not strike a deal with the United States soon, so that we stop losing tens of thousands of jobs. Confidence in Canada is lowering. Confidence in the United States is improving.
Well, I think that's why we want to use our own steel. We want to use our own lumber. We're trying to look at ways that we can use our own natural resources in order to not rely on other trading partners.
In the theory of Canada being its own best customer, who has more resources, United States or Canada in most regards? United States. You also have bigger opportunity for bigger business. So if I'm thinking just specifically that way, like part of what made Canada so special was that it was so close to the United States. They had a great relationship, but you got to live in Canada. It was a little bit different. That's something that you could be proud to say. But at the same time now, we've said, oh, well, we don't really need to rely on the United States. Yet even the federal government itself said, well, we can never not rely on them.
So going to the whole thing about striking a deal, there's never been a deal for the sake of a deal and a good deal. Like, we've been signing deals for the sake of a deal for the last decades, and look where we are now. And we need a real comprehensive deal that looks towards Canada's future, and that future necessarily includes the United States. I mean, we've been allies for decades, and we have the largest border in the world.
We can't change things overnight. That's what we're trying to say, is that this is going to take years. And this has been a neglect from both liberal and conservative governments that we're trying to fix within this budget.
So one of my challenges, though, is that even in the budget, it still doesn't directly address what we're doing to converse with the United States in getting something closed. I mean, we've seen the United States agree with other countries, not slap the amount of tariffs that they have on Canada, yet we haven't had the urgency to do it, yet we lost tens of thousands of jobs in Q2.
But I think there is that urgency because we're seeing that in the midterms. We're seeing that at the Supreme Court. You're seeing them say, like, this is affecting not only Canadians, but Americans. And they're starting to understand that. So it's going to be
not
their
to the
own
same level,
people.
Though. Like, the United States GDP has significantly grown in comparison to Canada just in the last few years.
But if they do that to their own best friend, which that's what we were, and our closest ally, what message does that send to other trading partners?
So we've got about 15, 20 seconds here. Arshia, do we have an opportunity? Do you think it's necessary that we do sign some sort of deal soon with the United States to back up the infrastructure projects that we have
Oh,
coming.
absolutely. But time should not come at the expense of quality, right? So, or actually, quality should not come at the expense of time. It's important that we have a good deal as
But do
long
we
as
have
it takes.
time to make that?
Yeah, and we have the best deal with the United States right
Really?
now.
We lost
and
tens of thousands of jobs in
We're
Q2.
still sitting better than any other country with them.
Are we? 10
I would say
10
some
years
sort
of no
sacrifices
GDP
are
growth?
required.
All right. We'll be right back. Housing affordability and taxes, more to come.